Good rising, brethren. This is Big Judah, coming to you guys from California. Before I begin, give all praise is Most High Yahweh, acknowledgement to the earthly mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge Yahweh Shai. I pray the Most High bless this lesson this evening, gives more knowledge and understanding of the events of the past, in order to understand events that are currently happening on the earth, so we get a much better understanding of the things that are soon to come on the earth. Family, we're going to take a look at the type of people that this church needed to set up the Inquisition. See, the Christianity that is presented to the people in public is totally different from the Christianity that is practiced behind closed doors. I'm going to show you guys some things. We're going to show you guys, because I'm sure a lot of these same people and practices in these positions are still there today. The revived Roman Empire has not gone away. So many of the things and the practices that we're going to read about, I'm sure, are still going on behind closed doors. So let's get into this. We're going to get into the ceremonies, the religious ceremonies and customs of the several nations of the known world. And this book is, like I said, from like the 1730s, 1731, somewhere around there. Sometimes it just amazes me to think about how the world was when this book was published. There was no America. I said many of the things that we look at today and think that we read these books from a perspective of our living today was a totally different lifestyle. We were still enslaved at this time. We did not have any rights back then. We were looked at as less than human, because the whole doctrine of discovery was still going on. So if you were not a Christian, you were not a human, but they did not allow us to really even embrace their religion because they wanted us to be in a subhuman state so they could do whatever it was that they wanted to do to us and even be justified as doing it. But so there's a whole lot more information that was being divulged at this time because I said it was just a much different time. And I just think about the amount of people. I mean, a book that's almost 300 years old. It finds its way into my hands here in these last days, and it just opens up so much understanding as to how wicked these people are, how wickedly they thought, and they think the same today. So let's take a look here. Talking about the wars raised an account of the establishment of the Inquisition. Okay. To this war, which had been carried on openly against the Albigenses, succeeded that of the Inquisition, which completed the ruin of the unhappy surviving heretics. It had been established some time before by the authority of Innocent III and the care of Saint Dominic. The Pope, considering that how much soever the power of the Albigenses might be weakened by open force, yet great numbers of them would still survive, who would permit in the same opinions and profess their doctrine in private, thought it necessary in order to put a stop to this and every other kind of heresy to establish a standing remedy, a tribunal composed of persons whose sole business should be of the detecting and punishing of heretics. So they had to pick a people. They had to find some people that their whole job would just be to pretty much search out and punishing people that they say are heretics or people who did not agree with the power of the Roman Church. Now, look at the people that they had to find and the people that they wanted to put in these positions. Now, remember, they would love to present themselves as this loving organization that just is all about love, and we're going to love you to death. We're going to love you into, going into our religion. Jesus was all about love. Everything's about love. They say that's what they try. Oh, we're all about hate. You Hebrew Israelites, you guys are all about hate. And now it's funny because I see people talking about how, well, what does it matter if you're Israel? How are you saving souls? I heard someone talking about that on another video. If it doesn't matter who you are, why does it matter who Israel is? How is that going to get you saved? Now, if these people were worried about saving people, would they be, devolving themselves into what you're going to read about right now? All they cared about was not allowing anyone to have any alternative point of view, and that's the same as even today. You're called a heretic if you come up with your own breakdown, or you're not allowed to have your own breakdown because you didn't go to the right college, you didn't study under the right person, or you're taking those scriptures out of context. But see, this is what they have been doing. So don't give me the whole love doctrine and try to accuse everyone else of hate when all of your history of your mother church and all the churches that have followed after the fact have all been nothing but hate. See, all of them are still pushing that we are black people or we are African American people. We don't, pretty much, they don't want us to have a history. They don't want us to have, any traditions. That is what all these churches and these organizations have been set up to do. So as soon as you kick out the original people, as soon as you exclude them from being part of, any race in your construct, now all of a sudden everyone is free to take up all parts of our blessing, and everyone is confederate with that. That's when the last video was talking about how, well, black is a race. We already know that black is not a race. We know that white is not a race, but you have to set these things up so that everyone else can, have their little pick of our histories. Now check this out. Let's take a look here at the type of people that they're going to be finding to put in positions of as inquisitors. Okay, but again, what is it? A tribunal composed of persons whose sole business should be the detecting and punishing of heretics. To effect this, it was absolutely necessary that these persons should be wholly dependent on the court of Rome. Hold on. Okay. To effect this, it was absolutely necessary that these persons should be wholly dependent on the court of Rome and entirely devoted to its interests, that they should not be distracted by other business or taken off by other avocations. It was proper for them to be mean and insignificant, okay, in outward appearance, to the end that they might look upon unemployment as honorable, which in those days was wholly confined to the detecting of heretics. It was necessary they should be persons who did not know father or mother, sister or brother, and bound by no manner of ties, to the end, okay, they might have the least regard or consideration for any person whatsoever. That they should be hard hearted, inflexible, of a breast, uninformed with pity or compassion. So they wanted people that had no pity, no compassion, hard hearted, inflexible. These are the type of people that they wanted to raise into these positions as inquisitors. But where's all the love? So you want the most, horrible people that have no pity, no mercy because of the job you're going to have them do. But see, in the churches, you want to portray yourselves by putting these priests in here who are all soft and everything else, and so just try to show themselves as being so loving. But behind closed doors, you're looking for people to go after the Israelites because that's who you guys are going after, and they had to be hard hearted, had no ties to a mother, no ties to fathers, no ties to sisters or brothers, right? Inflexible, right? No pity, uninformed with pity, okay, or compassion. These are the type of people you are setting up to go after Israelites. But today you want to portray yourselves as some godly organizations and that you're going to lead people to heaven and that you love your brother and you're so loving. But these are the type of people that you raised up. Okay? So again, should be hard-hearted, inflexible, of a breast, uninformed with pity or compassion, and that because they intended to set up the most severe and rigorous tribunal. See, that was their whole point. They were going to set up the most rigorous, right, and most severe tribunal. They were going to come after people, and they were going to come after them, and show no pity, no remorse. So it wasn't that these people intended to do these things, because they had to go look for a specific type of people that they could manipulate and give these. I mean, these people were able to go after kings, princes. I mean, they were pretty much able to do whatever they want. You imagine putting a person with these types of attributes into a position where they don't have an equal. They can do whatever they want. Just imagine that. We got people that are still walking around here like that today. Only reason they're not doing these types of things is because they don't have the power to. But these are the type of spiritless, evil people that they needed to raise into these positions to go come after the Israelites. So again, that because they intended to set up the most severe and rigorous tribunal that had ever been established. See, they were going. This is it. They had ever been established. Again, these are the goals of these curses from Daniel 9, 11, and 12. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're setting up right here. Hold on fast. They were setting up. This is why this is all these prophecies and talking about how there's going to be an antichrist in the future. So you guys already have executed these horrible things. These horrible times. You've already done it. Let me go there really quick. Daniel. Let me get it real quick. Daniel 9 and 11 and 12. Yea. Daniel 9:11. Yea, all Israel have transgressed thy law, even by departing, that they might not obey thy voice. Therefore, the curse is poured upon us, and the oath that is written in the law of Moses. This is Deuteronomy 28. Okay, Moses, the servant of God, because we have sinned against him. 12. And he hath confirmed his words, which he spake against us, and against our judges that judged us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as hath been done upon Jerusalem. So this is what's going on right here. They're setting up these tribunals to come after Israel, and they're setting up the worst one that has ever been established. Now, there's been nothing that's been this bad ever since, because this was going on for hundreds of years. I don't care what numbers they say that they've killed. They lie about absolutely everything. So let's continue. In a word, it was necessary they should be very zealous for religion, of a mean capacity. See, you got to make sure you get these people in here that are zealous for religion and very mean, hard-hearted. You see that? But such whose interest it might be to do all that lay in their power to extirpate heretics. So they're just going after Israelites. Anyone that they want to just, accuse of anything, they're going to go after. Pope Innocent, being unsatisfied with the conduct of the bishops and officers of their several courts, whose zeal against the heretics appeared to him faint and languid, thought he saw in the religious and the newly instituted orders of St. Dominic and St. Francis all the qualities necessary for his purpose. These monks were inviolably attached to the interest of the court of Rome. The solitude and retirement they professed, and which, as afterwards appeared, began to grow tedious to them, allowed them time sufficient for pursuing their laudable work. The meanness of their dress and of their monasteries, so different from what we find them in our days, and above all, the custom of begging up and down, and the great humility they openly professed, must naturally make them consider the post of Inquisitor as an employment perfectly well adapted to soothe the ambition they might have still left. The general renunciation they made even of the families from whence they were descended was a great step towards their being insensible to all those sensations. See, they don't want you having any remorse or any of these kinds of ties. They want you to pretty much just be a monster, right? Which the ties of nature, okay, as well as those of civil life, do usually inspire. Besides the austerity of their rule and the severities which they practice on themselves, was far from informing them with the least compassion or sensibility for their neighbor. So they don't want you being sensible or having any compassion for your neighbor. But you want to say that you're some kind of a godly organization, but you looking for these types of attributes, to set up the Inquisitors. So they had no intentions of trying to get these people to convert. Their intentions were to kill and destroy, and and that was pretty much just uh, thin out the herd of the Israelites and steal everything that they could from them. Right. So that was exactly it. So, besides the austerity of their rule and the severities which they practiced on themselves, was far from informing them with the least compassion and sensibility for their neighbor, since they had not the least tenderness for themselves. In a word, they were very zealous, as all professors of newly established religions. There you go. Now, see, this religion was a new thing. Again, they want to make it sound like it was somehow something old and something that's always been around. But this religion, this Catholic religion, was new. And there was people that were going against it, the Albigenses and many other secret societies, who knew that this was just, that this was nothing but the church of the devil. Okay? So again, all professors of newly established religions are generally found to be learned according to the genius of that age, i.e., very well versed, okay, in the learning of the schools and the knowledge of the new canon law. Not to mention that they were more immediately prompted to do all that lay in their power to extirpate heretics, because these were eternally exclaiming against them. See, that was the sheep and the goats. There's only two groups. Either you're for the church of the Most High or you're for the church of Satan. There's nothing else. But when they had the sword, they had no problem using it against us. Okay? So again, because these were eternally exclaiming against them and left no stone unturned in order to ruin them in the minds of the people. And that's what's happening even today. See, this battle has been raging. They can't fight the truth, so you got to put up a whole system that goes after the people that are preaching truth. So the things they did back then by trying to assassinate people's characters and things like that, these are things that they've been doing forever. Okay, the Pope, therefore, having found in these monks all the qualities he judged requisite for those he intended for inquisitors of the faith, made no difficulty to confide that employment to them, and they on the other side acted their part so well as fully answered all the Pope or the court of Rome expected from them. So, like I said, you can easily see the type of people that they were looking for to put in these positions. They had no intentions, right, of trying to convert them. They wanted to torture them, kill them, and steal their goods, steal their resources. Their plan was the whole time was to disconnect us from our power. This is why it was so important for the Most High to send the Holy Spirit and to fulfill these prophecies of us, have the Most High, having the Holy Spirit bring all things back into remembrance, because they had gone out of their way by putting up these types of people into these positions to destroy us as a people. Psalms 83 has done a great job, and they fulfilled their task of destroying the Most High's chosen people. And now he's bringing everything full circle by sending the Holy Spirit to bring back all things into our remembrance and awaken us here in these last days. This is why this is the last days, DAZE, of the Israelites. This is why we are now being blessed with our knowledge, understanding once again, which is now raising us from the tail back to the head. And you see that other nations, they are devolving, they are regressing from being the head to now becoming the tail. All praise, Most High Yahweh, acknowledgement to Earthly Mother. Who is wisdom? Who is the Holy Spirit? Acknowledge Yahweh Shai. Shalom.